You are now live on Channel 8 YouTube.
Okay, today is February 13th, 2023. This is the Conservation Commission Town Hall on 60 Patriots Road, East Templeton. Broadcast on TCTV 1923 6:30 meetings. We're going to read and approve. First, Dave, have you already read these meetings? These from last time?
Yes,
Okay, and do you approve?
I
of it?
accept the minutes.
Okay, I will second and accept the minutes. Amanda?
Yes.
And Amanda accepts the minutes also. So there's three of us. We're all okay. David, myself, and Amanda. Okay, now it is 6:33 p.m. We are going into do our first meeting, and which will be the notice of intent, Brooks Village Road, number 20936, with extensions of an existing commercial gravel removal operation within 200 feet of a riverfront area. MassDEP file number 3040379.
And can I read the legal notice?
And yes, you
Perfect.
can read the notice for me. Thank you.
Brooks Village Road 2-09-36, notice of intent. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, that a public hearing will be held on a notice of intent, MassDEP file number 304-0379, filed by Chris Mossman of Trowbridge Engineering LLC on behalf of Glenn Radigan of Radigan Family Trust on 50 Brooks Village Road. Project location is behind 50 Brooks Village Road, map 2-09 parcel 36. Description of project is the extension of an existing commercial gravel removal operation within 200 feet of a riverfront area. The hearing will be held on February 13th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. at Templeton Town Hall. Any person wishing to be heard concerning the above application should appear at the time and place indicated above. The notice of intent is available for public review at the Development Services Office, room 3, 160 Patriots Road during regular office hours. The NOI is also available upon request from jcase@templetonma.gov, George Andrews. We have the applicant Glenn Radigan here. We have Chris Mossman of Trowbridge Engineering, and we also have Mary DePinto to represent the applicant.
So
You guys would like to step up to the
come
mic
on up.
so we can hear you? That would be great. Thank you so much.
Can I approach her and point or?
You
Huh?
can.
Huh? Sure. Yeah, there's supposed to be a place to put a poster up.
Yeah.
No, what they do with it? No, they don't have one with it, so.
Well, I
Uh,
think I'm gonna start
this
you off.
matches this
I have a
one.
60 scale drawing that shows the whole neighborhood. I'm gonna
Okay,
pop that down.
Pop it right here.
Guys,
okay.
is there any way you can put up a PDF?
I'm not,
Yeah.
yeah, I
feel bad, she can't
yeah.
see what we're talking about, but. So, all right, so this is 60 scale, so it shows a lot of the parcels around. It shows all of what Glenn has worked on in the past. So Brooks Village Road is here.
Yeah.
His house is here. The cart road that goes in and runs through the site out back is right along here. So I did a phase 1 and a phase 2 in the past, and now we're working on phase 3. And so what I've got it is we're going to be extending that. You've been out to the bottom to the pit that he's got out here now. We're extending it slightly downward here and then going back up this way, kind of following. You see these lumps, those are kind of contours of sandy material that we're going to be working towards. And as we get out to this location right here, we're within 100 feet of the riverfront.
You're in 200 feet.
200 feet.
This is the river. That's the 100 foot. That's the 200.
And I got that. And I just said, we're within 100 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're into the 100 feet. We're not into 200 feet. We're just.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we were thinking the same way.
Yeah, I know.
Yep, okay. So yeah, it's a full 200-foot riverfront, and here's the river. Here's the first 100, the inner riparian zone, and this is the outer riparian zone. And so we have a small cut that we're proposing there, but we do have a nice little spot of gravel that we'd like to take right there. So I propose some erosion controls for when we get out there, because the pit will probably work this way. And all this work is kind of outside of the buffer zone and outside of the road front. That's what I have for kind of the quick, basics of the project, but maybe you can ask me some questions, then we get into DEP's comments.
I delineated the wetland areas last April, but then I came back out in the winter and did the bank of the river as well, so it's been fun.
So here's the wetlands down here in the 100-foot buffer zone that we're not into.
Yeah.
And I had Mary Ann bring it up along here for kind of verifying the riverfront. Into the brook.
Okay,
Amanda and I took a walk of the property with
Yes.
Mr. Radigan. When did we go, Amanda? October? I think.
It was sometime in the fall, yes.
Yeah, it was cold. It was cold. So he just described the plot kind of how Glenn described it to us, and staying along that path, that cart road. You know what I'm saying? And then still 100 feet from the river. So he's 100 feet into the 200, but still 100 feet away from the river.
Okay.
I'm explaining that helpfully for you.
Yeah.
I know you've seen the plans. You got them emailed to you, right? Yeah.
Yes, I've seen the plans, and the owl does a pretty good job of zooming in to show where he's gesturing.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Okay, our main question is, you have these questions from
Yes. I
DEP,
do.
and
Yes.
how did we answer them?
All right, well, I guess I was most concerned about the first one. Because that's really your jurisdiction is dealing with the riverfront. And that's a real question of, that we talked about.
So for Amanda, who's, zooming in right now, Chris is referring to MassDEP's first comment, which says, what is the cumulative riverfront area that has been impacted at this location, including the entire parent lot from previous projects since 1996? And will the total riverfront area impact from all projects since 1996, including the current project, exceed 10% or 5,000 square feet?
So I didn't have the answer to that question right off the bat. Because I worked on phase 1 and phase 2, but I wasn't involved with what went on across the brook. And so what I did is I grabbed a couple of Google Earth aerial photographs and tried to figure out what was done back between 1999, when they got an order of conditions from the Templeton Conservation Commission, and 2003, when it looks like the peak amount of disturbance was done. So I'm gonna let Mary Ann talk about that a little bit, what I sort of.
Okay,
All right, yeah, the riverfront area on the property is outlined in the kind of fuchsia color.
Yeah.
And the orange there is the area, the maximum amount of area within the riverfront that was disturbed. If you look over time, it's actually, much of that's restored, but that area had a permit under, as a limited project for crossing the brook to get to the backland. And as for a crossing for the access way through the riverfront, that is not included in the 10% total. For the previous order of conditions. So
Okay.
the numbers that you,
So what I came up with for areas was about 655,000 square feet, it's like 15 acres. That's a riverfront on the lot. We altered about 1.5 acres. We removed the probably 10,000 square feet that was in to build a road and get into the riverfront and out of the riverfront on the other side. And so that left us with about 15,000 square feet that would be somewhat available to do some alteration on the property. And we're proposing to do 11,500. So I think that we're probably good here. I also want to show you that we got a copy from 2019. I'll let you compare. And so here's the cut here, here's what we're proposing here, here's the river. And all of these areas that were disturbed are starting to grow again. I mean, I'm out there looking at 6-inch diameter white pines.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we didn't build buildings on it, we didn't build parking lots, we didn't. You know,
The riverfront area is still there. It's
Still
still
there,
just
yeah.
restoring itself
Yeah, yeah.
essentially.
so that was, I spent the most time trying to solve, answer this question, because I, in my mind, this was the more important one, to try to get you some reassurance about.
So we've got 60,000 square feet over a total of 655.
Yeah.
Is that my math?
Yep.
Right?
Well, yeah, you would. there's
Right,
the
so I took the-
calculation- Sure, just the calculations right there for you.
Ah.
I'll definitely, right there.
Yeah, so I was gonna do orange over the total.
Yep.
Yeah. So you did 65,000 minus the 60. plus
What's
the-
Amanda can't see these, so.
Yeah, so I was trying to hold it up for her.
You got a spare one, if I can put it in.
Oh, where is she watching?
It's okay. I've got it up in ArcMap and I'm calculating it.
So the answer is, Amanda, 10% was altered. Right? 10% equals 65,540, right?
Yep.
And we think that you guys calculated 60,000. Right? Right? So am I reading your numbers right?
Yep.
10% equals 65,000, but you said the area of land altered is 60,000, which would mean the answer to their question is less than 10% has been altered
Right.
since 1996.
Right, and so we have room to
Yep.
work in this area
Yep.
here.
Just trying to answer a direct
Yeah,
question
yeah,
since
yeah.
Amanda's on Zoom.
Yeah.
So Amanda, so they calculated that 10% is 65,000 square feet. But the land that has been altered so far since 1996 is 60,000, which would mean it's less than 10% since 1996 that has been altered. So to answer MassDEP's question, the answer is less than 10%.
Yeah.
Which is why he's saying that they have room to
Do this, yeah.
go into the riverfront area.
What do you thinking, Dave?
All right.
Just a second.
And you're saying all this has already been starting to,
Yeah, if
come
you
back?
guys come out and take a look, I mean, you can see the thread of the cart road running right through here. That's
Yeah.
still there.
Yeah.
But everything on either side of it,
Just
you can
come.
see, if you look here, basically there was an esker. Like a little
Right.
hill of sand that ran right down through here. And they just kind of worked their way down, excavating that material and left it relatively flat or a side slope going up on the right-hand direction. And, since 2003, I think, there was a little bit less going on in 2006. And then from there, they started working out here.
Okay.
And so all that stuff has started to grow back.
So did you and Amanda see that when you were there? or-
Matt and I saw a lot when we were out there.
I know you were out there one
Yeah.
time. Yeah. Okay.
MassDEP also asked about the soil determination.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of ways to do drainage calculations. Everybody does them a little bit differently. Everybody uses different aspects of doing it. Some of the questions she asked would sort of increase the base runoff. Whereas if I applied that, so there would be less runoff. Then she also asked a question about the subsoil and the topsoil and saying those aren't as sandy, so that would increase the runoff. So there are a bunch of these questions kind of shoved me back and forth about
Yeah.
trying to solve what I want to do. I'm really happy with what I did. I mean, I've done a bunch of these.
We always see that them wanting applicants to meet like the maximum extent practical usually.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
And I am, I mean, I filled out the stormwater management form, basically, let's see if we can pull the plans out here. Look at this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, let's use, okay, all right.
You want yours?
Well, no, it's either one, the other six.
No, you got this one already.
All right, let's do that one.
I was just gonna roll this back up.
So-
there.
I'm not sending any water down towards the river. This is all good. This is all gonna be graded in this direction and this direction. and end up at a stormwater management facility over here. It's all out of the buffer zone and out of the riverfront. And we have, I dug 3 test holes in here, one with the stormwater management facility is, one in a low spot. So this is, there's a high spot here, a high spot here, and a high spot here. This is a low spot. I wanted to dig down below where we're going to be taking the sand from these hills. And this is also a low spot. So I characterized the soil down below here. And the planning board is going to want me to make sure I left 6 feet of soil above the groundwater.
The planning board is, depending on this meeting for the stormwater management plan. They decided they weren't gonna make a decision without
So
conservation.
we kind of understood.
So, Amanda and I did the site walk with Glenn in October, and when we walked closer to the river, there was a point where we were standing at such a high elevation that we could literally look down and see the river, right?
Yeah.
What point on this?
My
Is
guess it
there.
would be right over here.
Okay.
See how close the contours are right
Okay.
here?
So I think that's what would be, and I don't want to speak for Amanda, but that would be a concern that, you know, if you were going that far, that the natural course of the land would drain it into the river. So Amanda, it looks like on the map, he stopped about 50 feet before that edge.
Yeah.
And it'll end up being
Right.
real high berm between where
Yeah.
it's taking it out.
Well, it was before I saw that.
Right.
Does
Yeah.
that make sense, Amanda? Do you remember when we walked all the way to the edge and then we were looking down into
Yes.
the river? His,
That makes a lot of sense.
his
They're
face-
taking off some of that hill.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they're stopping 50 feet before that where we were standing,
Mhm.
just to try to give you a visual.
Yeah.
Thanks.
There's a very steep slope here. You see how the contours start to
Yes,
widen out once we come back
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're up in a
once
flat
we-
spot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flat area. Yeah.
I remember it was a long walk
It's
back
a-
in 99.
it's a hike.
It is,
It's
yeah,
a hike.
right, it's
Um,
all over, yeah.
And, you know, it's a beautiful property. And so obviously our concern is just to make sure that that river stays as beautiful as it is.
Right.
No construction material getting in that. So,
I'll just say one other thing. So I have these test holes and they were sort of handy because they're in low spots down below. And, you know, I did a soil evaluation there. I didn't even see signs of a high water table. And I did monitoring wells over here too. And I never saw groundwater. I mean, I've got a 9, I think a little bit, maybe a 10-footer here, 11-footer here. And this one, we had a boulder, so I only get down about 9 feet. But I went out and checked before coming to this meeting. I went out on last Wednesday. And still, and the water table's up now, and I don't have any groundwater. So, you know, I'm not, and the soil that we took out of there was good. Jim Poplaski, who's gonna be the pit operator, was satisfied with the material that he saw there. He was happy about it. And it says it's similar to what he worked on in phase 1 and phase 2.
Thank you. Any other questions, Amanda? David? No? Oh,
No, I'm looking at the aerial images from the 1990s, and it actually looks like that whole stream next to him used to be a lot skinnier. I think we saw some beaver dams up there. So previous determinations probably used a measurement that was much closer to like the middle of that ponding area than we are now. But I don't have any questions. I think that they actually overestimated the impact that they had since the 90s. So that's good.
Yeah, no, like I said, I tried to pick a spot, you know, probably about,
Scenario. kind of-
yeah.
okay.
well, it looks like he hit all the points on MassDEP's list regarding the soils and stormwater.
Okay. Can I get-
Anything else you guys
Have
want
all
to add?
stuff for the file.
I guess I'd leave you this.
Map and stuff.
Yep,
Yeah.
Okay.
yep,
And
I can add.
that's the 2000.
I'd be happy to add that to the file. Very good.
I will make a motion to approve the NOI with the DEP number 3040379 as written.
David?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, David seconded, and I agree.
Can you take a roll
No.
call vote since
Yeah.
Amanda's Zoom?
Yes. Okay, so Amanda, you approve to?
Yes.
Okay, David, you approve?
Yes.
Yeah, I approve, so it's approved by the whole board. Everything needs to be okay there.
Very good.
Okay.
So I will get together the order of conditions. Since Miss Suzie is via Zoom, I will have to drag her into town hall, and then I will reach out to both you and Mr. Radigan. One of you can come and pick them up.
Yep, I'm sure Glenn will come over.
Yeah.
Usually in our order of conditions, there's a pre-construction visit. Where you'd reach out to Mr. Andrews to make sure that all the, that it's all ready to go.
Yeah, honestly, we're not gonna put those in right away. That's at the far end of the project
Yeah.
that we're not gonna be at for a few years. so-
Usually we like to ask, what's your timeline for this once? I mean, so just so they know, you're going to planning board next month.
Yeah.
Yep, we're gonna go to planning board, so once we get approvals, we're gonna do some tree cutting. And I don't think we're gonna put erosion controls out for a while they're doing that. If they start stumping in that area, that's in the riverfront, yes, we'll absolutely put erosion controls in there. If that's gonna wait for a little while, we're probably not gonna, put silt fence out until, those plans are starting to happen.
Okay,
But I think it's gonna be kind of a process where we work subtly.
so that will be on the order of conditions.
I think I
Okay.
started phase one in like 2010 and then, it's.
Get to the 3 years and you haven't even gotten there yet, make sure you get the extension.
Yeah, you gotta get that extension in 3 years if you ain't got there yet. Mr. Radigan knows.
And because it's an extension of your gravel pit, but it's on a new parcel.
Right.
You said at the last,
One I currently have is still got over a year and a half,
Yeah.
2 years left to it.
so
So
you're gonna do a new,
a new one.
permit,
on
'cause it's a new-
Yeah, we're going to a new parcel of
I
property.
know you mentioned that at the planning board meeting, and I wanted to touch base
Yeah.
with you to make sure that we were on the same page about
Okay.
that. So very good. Yeah, it'd be a new permit for a new parcel of
Yeah.
land that you're on. Yes, very good.
We had a nice existing phase, so we're gonna.
Yes, no, yeah,
Thank you very much.
very good.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Nice meeting you again, Mary.
Take care.
Take care. Hang on, the meeting has been closed at 6.
Yep.
6:50 PM.
Just that topic, Hannah, not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Just that meeting, so we can continue with our
Right.
meeting.
because I just have a few things for you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. guys.
Okay. And this is last meeting's done, this is done. Okay, remember chair comments, let's see if Mr. Bennett has anything he wants to say. Nothing, he's just sitting here. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, remember chair comments, let's see what you.
Me? All right.
Yes, let's see. what
So
you-
Amanda, I can't give this to you, but when you come in to sign, I'll give it to you. You guys got this stuff in the mail from the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife. It's
Okay,
the
That's the one.
new
okay.
mass biomap. Have
Yeah.
you heard of this, Amanda?
Yeah, I have it already.
Oh, okay.
Well, sorry for being cool and giving you new information, but I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's-
So yeah, so I just wanted to hand that out for you guys. Amanda already knows, but they provided if you go to that mass.gov biomap,
Yeah.
you can see, like a whole layout of different type of, Amanda, did you take a look at this, the biomap?
Yes.
Yeah.
My department created it.
Woo! Okay, so good on that. And then 2 other things for you guys. We got a NOI for 66 Baptist Common Road. That was the applicant that came in with the RDA with the positive determination.
The sign house, yeah.
Yeah. So just letting you know, I'm waiting for a MassDEP file number for that.
Okay,
They haven't assigned one to it yet, and once they do, I'll try to get that on the next agenda.
okay.
And then the last thing was, last meeting, we had, Mr. Matasewicz come in, and Amanda, you mentioned, having me look into, looking into the funds. So I did that and I wanted to report back to let you know I found a few things. In our wetlands protection account, that's the account where all of the NOI and NOI fees go into.
Right.
There's $57,000.
Right.
So we have plenty of funds for
We
us
need
to
a lawyer.
hire a third party. If those plans were to go forward and you guys wanted a real good opinion, we can hire somebody.
Yeah.
To make sure that that's done right. I know that's a big one coming up. Also, I found $156.59 left in the River's Edge Conservation account. And I found an email from May of 2022 that you guys asked for a sign. So I forwarded off to the DPW director and he already ordered it. So we're getting the open from,
Right.
from dawn till dusk sign.
Right, it's a sign down there, so people
Yeah.
aren't going in there when they're not supposed
So
to.
that was good.
Something we-
He asked that if he had any money left over, if he could buy some bark mulch to, spruce up the place. And I said, absolutely.
Said yes, thank you.
The other thing, and then the last thing about funds that I wanted to report to you is that, so I'm also the CPC admin, and there is a CPC conservation account voted in from 2010 that has $8,000 in it, and the town voted it in so that conservation didn't have to continuously go to town floor to request money and funds to do certain things.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's sat in an account for the past 13 years, 12 years, and nothing has been done with it. So I wanted to throw an idea out to you guys. I did mention it to George, but when we opened River's Edge, it was $500 to buy plants, grass, mulch, and stuff to open it at that ribbon cutting ceremony to look as beautiful as it does. I thought of an idea of maybe we want to put forth to the CPC to take $500 out per year to buy new plants or mulch or grass or whatever, so that conservation area is as gorgeous as it was at ribbon cutting ceremony. And if we did that, those funds would maintain River's Edge for the next 16 years.
What were the funds earmarked for? Does that fall under the specific things?
I can look more into that, but it was initially created for conservation resources. I mean, obviously, River's Edge didn't exist back in 2010. So let me go find the fine print and match it up and see if that would qualify.
We'll do
Does that
that.
work?
And check with John and them at our
Yeah.
next CPC meeting.
Absolutely. But
Good.
before I even did that, I wanted to throw the idea by you guys, because I feel like that's, untapped potential right there to, CPC money is used to, you all know, to preserve our community. And I just think it would be a great resource. I feel like we haven't had funds to be able to do much lately. And I feel like it'd be a great opportunity to maintain that property, for the whole community to enjoy and not let it, dilapidate and depend on DPW to maintain it all the time.
Yeah.
We could invest some available funds into it that have been sitting there for 12 years.
Yeah, as I said, that was originally for the community president. So what's that?
It was on the CPC,
CPC, yeah.
but it's earmarked for conservation
Yeah.
so that
Yeah,
Conservation,
we
we
used
have to go
approve
back
things through
on the floor.
CPC. Okay, that's fine.
But if you guys have any other ideas, like, I'm definitely open to it. I was just throwing out an idea
Yep,
because
that's
I
fine
think
with
people
me.
get frustrated when they see accounts that have been open for 12 years and nothing coming out of it. It's like, why not just vote it back in?
Yep.
But if we could do something very beneficial for it and all the residents could benefit from it.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, because I think that school, that building down there has been put off for another year, right? Those houses and
and
stuff.
CCMPZ School Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just waiting for state funding.
Yeah.
It's a big process they have to go through. So the CPC money for that is just waiting.
Okay.
So anyways, just wanted to provide you guys that,
Yeah.
what do you guys think about that idea? I'll go and
It's a good
match up.
idea. Like I said, it's, we'll go through it and check.
Okay,
And if there's anything else it's not needed for her.
Okay.
And we'll go with that with CPC. you know,
Yeah.
whereas it's basically their money.
Yeah.
Okay, now I need to bring up one thing. And Dave wasn't there, Amanda wasn't there. Baptist Common Cemetery.
Mhm.
Have you heard about that? All right, what they want to try to do is to move it down towards the town sheds. They own the land on this side of the town shed, there's a pond, and then there's acreage between the pond and the first house next to me.
They want
So-
to move the cemetery, is that what you said?
No, they want to put, they want to put up the monument announcing where it is, just so you know.
Okay,
Because neither one of you were there, Fred was there on the other two, but, so, just so you know what they want to do, and as soon as we find out from the May town meeting, one way or the other, then we'll decide, and we'll go with it from there.
So Amanda, the project right now is, there's access to the Baptist Common Cemetery, but it's on private land. And the town would prefer not to
Right.
deal with right-of-ways and easements and stuff like that. So the idea was proposed to access this Baptist Common Cemetery on town land. It's DPW land. There's actually a cut in the road on on Baldwinville Road. There's a cut in the sidewalk
I walked right
where
there.
you could see. So if you're looking at George's house, he has a neighbor to the left of him, and then that starts DPW property. It's in between like a open body of water and the neighbor. So the project would be to create a trail on town property that would go along DPW land and then enter into Baptist Common Cemetery from the back. It would be 2 signs, a trail creation, potentially some tree cutting, and like over 900 feet of fence to be installed. So the project was submitted to the CPC last week and they voted to support it. So it's going to go to the select board, and then the select board will choose to support it or not support it to get it to go to
That's a
town
special
floor.
town meeting.
So
That's a regular town
you know,
meeting.
George and I went as representatives for CPC and Concom because that open water's there. We advised the town that it would probably be best to do an RDA. It's a low impact project, but it's within 100 feet of that open water.
we'll have to check if it's exempt, because sometimes trails, I think. might
Yes,
be.
so I did say that to them, that trails under 3 feet on public land are usually exempt.
We also probably want it ADA compliant, and I don't know if 3 feet gives us that.
Well, they don't have to be ADA compliant if, right, I know. And it's a historic thing. I don't think you need like all that. And again, that wasn't part of the funding. It's just to like take down the trees to have access to it. You know, because right now the DPW is going to like mow it and maintain it, and they're getting to it through a private owner's property.
Did you, if I may?
Yes.
Jen, did you get the electronic copy of the map and stuff, the deed that I sent it?
I did.
Okay.
Yes,
So you could send it to.
Yep.
Amanda, so she could see the path and know.
absolutely. Amanda, I got the deed and like some maps and stuff. If you're interested, I'd be happy to forward them to you.
Well, like I said.
I would be happy to see them. Yeah.
Cemetery and the stuff regarding the right of way with Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
And a little history thing.
Yep. So it already got supported by the CPC, Amanda, and it's gonna go to the select board and then hopefully go to town floor. and get voted on.
And there are also veterans out there, so it'll make it, so people,
But just a heads up, because that's gonna have to do with, you know, you guys.
Yeah.
And an, you know, an RDA.
and just so you know, I didn't want you not knowing about it.
Yeah.
And getting hit all of a sudden with a surprise.
Yeah.
Okay. And anything else or
I'm good. Anything, Amanda?
anything, man? Okay,
We still need 2 more members of our board, so that when I'm sick, I can stay home in bed instead of zooming in.
yeah. Okay, next meeting is March 20th at 6:30 PM.
Correct.
And now can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion. to
7:05.
Seconded.
All those in favor? Aye.